morning. Myself, Sambuni B., Assistant Professor in English, St.Joseph College for Women, Tirupur. Today we are going to see General English Paper 3 about the poem O Captain, My Captain by Walt Whitman. A brief note on the author, Walt Whitman, an American poet, essayist, and journalist. He incorporates the transition between transcendentalism and realism in his works. Most of his poems deals with love and equality. As he was an influential poet in American canon, he was often called as father of free verse. Themes seen in the poem are victory and loss, and elegy, juxtaposition and ironies, grief and isolation, which pivots between public celebration and private grief, the individual versus the nation, and overwhelming grief and trauma, and most notorious political assassinations in United States. Some of the symbols used in this poem: the ship, course of the journey, bloody struggle between the Union and the Confederacy during the Civil War. Walt Whitman used the melancholy tone in the poem, which expresses people's feeling for their loved one's death. Thus, he describes the death of the American President Abraham Lincoln. Most important figures of speech seen in this poem are alliteration and repetition of the words. Let us move towards the text of the poem. In the first stanza, poet explains about the fearful trip gone by the captain. The speaker shouts with snare excitement to ship captain about making it home safe and sound. The ship, after enduring dark storms and impenetrate winds, made it back on the dock. The church bells are ringing and people act with excitement. As the ship draws near the harbor, the poem takes on a dark turn and the poet speaks from the heart as it has been shattered between the drops of blood are flowing on the ship's deck, the blood of Abraham Lincoln. From the second stanza, we come to know about the sailor imploring the dead captain to rise from the dead. The act of talking to the dead is known as apostrophe, and the dead for raising him was the people awaiting a shore to praise the captain, to cheer and stamp on his history. In actuality, the ship captain is not his biological father, but he calls him as his father because of his true respect and reverence. Thus, the sailor realizes the damage is irreparable. The third stanza explains that the sailor looks sadly at the dead captain. He observes his lips to have paled at the corpse. The captain fails to respond his cries of helplessness. The concluding lines of the poem explicate the fact that sailor has some bad news to share with the crowd. Again, the poet uses syndicate to represent entire American audience as the poem relates to death of Abraham Lincoln. Thank you.